Venga. Oh, okay. Very good. Hey. No, I can see it. Vale, oopsie. Say Drake. Yes. Okay. Long. Right. Afternoon. Hello. Again. Eerst een keer. Voilà. Eerst een keer. Halfway. It's a rabbit. And he knows I have food in here. Inte bra. Inte det. Inte någon. Amadeu. Ja, det är så. Kesto meilläkin. I got. Som är rappen. Okej, mycket fara. Espera un pelín, espera. Excellent. Sì. Swedish. No. Bene. Infatti. I like it for this. Oh, bene. No, bene, no, bene. Non già sta, non fa no, bene. Ja, sta. Ja, bene, calma. Video. Pretty no. For this. It's a couple now, husband and wife. Mm-hmm. No. No. Okay. No. Okay. Okay. Hello. Because I have food. He knows what he's smelling.
He knows what he wants.
Should I give some ham?
No, very nice.
It's pepperoni,
No,
No,
I'm probably going to give him the.
bread.
No,
Nothing.
no.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, though. Thank you. It was coming.
Hello. That's why he's here.
Yeah, I know.
Like a refuge for him.
You have to do dog picture. This can see if it might just be there for the company.
Ah. What race is this one?
It's German Spitz.
Sorry?
The German Spitz.
Ah, okay.
They come in 3 sizes. I think he's the middle size. Reminds me of the Pomeranian. Pomeranian is bred from his breed.
Ah, okay. The Pomeranian, I know. This one is the same family, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
He used to be popular in the 70s, 9 months, but I think he's actually charming. So.
But they are quiet, isn't it? Or
And relatively, he doesn't really bark. I mean, he barks on big dogs, but
the big ones.
Yeah, but when you're at home, he's just quiet.
Yeah, but the big dogs, is competition. Something like you cannot be bigger than me. Something
Exactly.
like that.
There's a bit of Napoleon syndrome sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I like German Shepherds, yeah. Yeah, I don't like it.
but they always do. They always do.
When he starts to fight with a big dog, I have to go in the
Yeah, because that's the thing. They have determination, but the big dogs has the strength.
Yeah. I guess I don't know what he sees when he looks at himself in the mirror, but he probably sees a big dog.
Probably. Well, they are just animals. They don't have the same notions we have. When you see a big guy, and even if he messes with us, we slow down. Okay, if he's a small one, I go forward. If he's a big one, we slow down. The animals don't have that notion, so they are determined. They are brave. They are courageous. Yeah. And they, even if they are badly hurt, they don't quit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that's it. But that's the thing. But it's having a dog sometimes is a good thing. It's the company, they're loyal, and
Yeah, it's company, and even when it rains, you kind of forces me out. It keeps you a little bit more active than you normally do. 7:30, he wants to go out. Yeah, you have to take him out. You know.
Yeah, that's the. It's what I read many years ago, 30 years ago. By this time, I purchased the book from. I think the author was Dale Carnegie. You probably heard. He's a guy who is an expert in communication.
Yeah.
He was a salesman, and the company for whom he worked gave him the worst territories in America for salesmen. Was the ones that nobody was selling anything. And he went there, he found the ways to trade, and he was successful. So later on, they picked up him, and he became instructor for the new salesmen. And he wrote that book. The name of the book was How to Make Friends and Influence People, because basically that's what he was doing. And it tells a story. It seems to be a real story about a dog that was struck by a lightning flash and died. I'm not sure if it was even his own story, his own infancy trauma when he lost the dog. He explained that we live on material things. The dogs live on love. We have to show our affection to them. Otherwise, they there's a word that I'm is missing, but I'm not going to say they die, but they start going down, start to get ill, and they finally they go away, they die, and that's it. So we have a dog. We have to give them attention. They show us their loyalty to us, and we show our affection to them. Not only giving the food and everything they need, but petting them and giving attention. But
I read somewhere about like babies need to be touched as well to develop their immune system.
That's it.
And interact with people.
Exactly the same thing. Yeah, we have to look after a pet as we look after a baby with the same attention, and that's it. What the dogs do is instinct. What they have. We sometimes say that they are smart, but they are smart because their instinct is smart. And, that's it. So I have dogs years ago. I had two, as far as I remember. One died. I don't know of what. It just we found it laying down on the floor, and until today we don't know what happened to the dog. Something he ate, probably. I don't know. We call him Little Balls because he was gray, but he had a lot of balls on his looking. The other one, Skippy, was a very good dog. Anything was showing up in the backyard, birds, cats, anything, he was barking all the time. So it was like a guarding dog. I can't remember which race was any of them. They were different. But that dog was very, very good. But my mom couldn't stand to the noise because he was always barking. There was a cat hiding in the corner. It doesn't matter which time of the day and or the night. In Portugal, we have this bad habit. The dogs are not home pets. In England, a dog sleeps in the living room or anywhere in the house. In my country, we have a dog house made of concrete, or we build up a small nut and we keep them in there outside. So he is the guard dog who is gonna guard or look after the property from outside. He never comes inside. Now I think things are changing, but in my time was like that. So that dog Skippy was outside in the backyard and looking after the backyard, and any noise, he was standing up, ears up, and barking. My mom said, I cannot stand this dog anymore. It's too noisy. You have to make a decision. So my father picked up the dog, put him in the car, and took him very far away and left him. The fact is, on the next day, the dog was at home. He found the way home, and we gave him a second chance. But then, no, it was not. It didn't become quieter. It was not a lesson for him. He didn't learn. My mom said, "You have to take him even farther." And that's what my father did. Took him farther, and this time he didn't over the river, and this time he didn't come back. So was very sad for us. I think my sisters were crying because we loved that dog. Despite the noise he was doing, he was a very, very nice dog. Um, and that's it. So we get affection for the dogs, and sometimes when they are gone, whatever the reasons, or no matter how, we feel for them. But the dogs is exactly the same for us.
Yeah, yeah.
When the owners die and they are buried, and they sometimes they go to the place where they are buried and stay there for hours, and then they go home.
Yeah, I had a thing like with my mother this time, and I could clearly see
Yeah.
that there was something missing for him, you know.
Yeah, the dogs feel it. Yeah, I know a story. I'm not sure how true it is, but I heard this story about 20, 25 years ago, maybe more. Is was a couple. The guy was not religious. The lady was religious, and she used to go to the church on Sunday, and the dog was following her. And the people in the church was so used to the dog that they found a little corner for him. And the dog was attending the church, not because he was religious, because they don't have that notion, but because he felt comfortable in there, and he was with his owner. So when the lady died, every Sunday at the church time, the dog was going to the church,
Carry on going.
without the master, without the owner. And the husband, the widow, start finding strange how it happens that the dog is never here at this time. It's this day of the week, and this time is never here. He decided to follow him, so keep an eye on him, and when he was going, he was following him at a certain distance. And he found himself inside the church. Oh, you are Mary's husband. Yeah, she died. I came here because of the dog. What the hell the dog is doing here? Oh, don't ask us. It's probably a habit that he already has. He feels comfortable. He feels nice, and he's coming. We don't kick him out. We know him.
In Scotland, there's this, I can't remember the dog's name now, but there's a famous statue I went to many years ago. We went to Edinburgh, and it was saying the only passed away, similar, the only passed away, and the dog used to go and sit next to the grave every day.
Go and come back.
Yeah,
Go and come back.
So
Yeah, there is stories like that. Yeah, because the affection is, but too many years, and yeah, that's it. Yeah, but that's life. I don't at the moment. I don't have conditions to have a dog. But if I would choose a dog, I probably would choose something big to be the bodyguard in the house, in the property. You understand?
I used to have a dog many years ago, but then after that, it was so emotional when he died, so I decided no more animals.
No more animals, yeah.
But then I had no choice when my mom died. I was like,
okay, so this dog, as you said, was from your mom.
Yeah, so he's from Sweden. I'm from Sweden as well.
Oh, you're Swedish?
Yeah.
Okay.
So during the height of COVID, we traveled through Europe together. We used to come back home.
You can't live without it.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was my rock when I was there anyway. I was with my mom. He got me out of the house and all this.
Okay, I'm surprised. So you're from Sweden. Which part of Sweden?
From Västerås, close to Stockholm.
Sorry, Västerås?
Västerås, yeah.
Is then on the suburbs of Stockholm, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about an hour away, yeah.
Okay. I think there's a player who played. I'm not sure where he is now. Right now, he was playing Manchester United.
Yeah, he was from my hometown. Yeah.
He's from your town, yeah. Victor
Lindelof.
Lindelof, yeah, because he was in my country in Benfica. I'm from Portugal.
He was the only player from my hometown,
Yeah, because when there was actually a polemic between Benfica and the club from Wandsworth, because when the player gone to Benfica, I don't think Benfica paid for him. I think they made a promise in case he is sold to a European giant, you get some percent.
He got a lot of money. Actually.
Yeah, exactly.
His birth club kind of thing.
But the contract, the original contract between the player and Benfica expired, and they made a new one. So Benfica understood that under the new contract they have to pay nothing. When they sold him, Benfica wanted all the money.
Paid something though to honor it.
Exactly. So that club, Wandsworth, isn't it? Wandsworth, did a collection of funds to take the case to UEFA to see if legally they could get their money. So that's when Benfica started to think about, okay, we have to look at this case because it doesn't look like we are right. They might be right, and we are wrong. So they decided, sat at the table, and decided to make an agreement. Okay, we're going to pay you this money for this and for the player, and then the case was settled. But Benfica didn't act very honestly, and that was
It made a huge difference in the whole town.
yeah.
Yeah, for example.
But Sweden is a place from where always good players came up. We have a tradition in Portugal. You know Ericsson, who died already. The first foreign experience when he got out of Sweden was in Benfica. And he took two players with him. I think was Stromberg,
Yeah, well, you see on the again?
Glenn Stromberg, and there's another one. I know the other was Danish. Was Michael Manish. Yeah, who is now a sports director somewhere. Yeah, so two players from there, but later on other players like Jonas Stern, Stefan Schwartz, and many others were playing for Benfica, even under because Ericsson was twice in Benfica. He was between 82 and 84. Then he went to Italy because that's where it was. Yeah. And then he was a couple of years in Italy. He didn't win any trophy. Go back to Benfica, and he led Benfica to the Champions League final against Milan. And later on, he decided to go out. Someone offered more money, and I think got back to Italy again. And then he has been all around the world until he got too old.
Even with England for a while, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a national manager here. He wasn't successful because it's not easy to deal with players who are highly paid. You understand? Yeah, because that's the thing. What we see in the field is not the same that the managers see in the dressing room. Those guys who make hundreds of thousands per week, not per month, per week, they have strange egos. And the manager has to be really clever and has the capacity to deal with those egos because sometimes there are clashes. I remember even in my country where players were not so well paid, but for our economy it was a lot of money. We had a player called Gomez. He was one of the oldest in the national team. And then came up another player, 18 years old, called Paulo Futre. You probably heard about Paulo Futre. Yeah, exactly. He's still alive. Gomez is dead, but Futre is still alive. He's a businessman now. And he told, if this guy plays any game from the beginning, I go back to Portugal. It was in Mexico in the World Cup. And that's why our World Cup was a crap. We were kicked out in the first phase. First we beat Germany in their home in Stuttgart. We won. Germany was not losing a game at home for 30 years. So we broke that record. So we have hopes. In the first game, we beat England 1-0 in the time of Gary Lineker and many others. The manager was Bobby Robson. Exactly. We beat England. But then we lost against Poland. We lost against Morocco. And we kicked out.
That's what I love about football. I mean, in the end of the day, you need to get all 11 to play together. Individual, because we have.
They have to be like a family. They have to be like a family, and that's very difficult because, a new player comes and people look like from the corner of the eye. Who are you? Who do you think you are? And sometimes the player has more talent than all the others. You understand? The competition before that one in 1984 in the European Cup. I think Sweden was not there, but Denmark was there, and they did great. That's when many Danish players start to show off, like Elkjar Larsen, Thomason, and many others. Many good players from Denmark. They were showing off in the European Cup, in the European Championship in 1984 in France. And Portugal had a great team, not better than the team in 96, but have a great team. And it was not a manager they have a management commission. There were three guys making the decisions, not only one guy. So instead of being one manager and two assistants, it was three managers, and they make the decisions together. And they were not known, they were not famous. One of them was, the last time he was managing a team was 15 years before. So he lacked dress room experience in the dress room. You understand? But they did great. They s- they put the team playing all together as a family. The environment was great, but he said it was very difficult to deal with certain egos in the national team, and he predicted when that management commission was dismissed, he predicted the disaster for the following competition. If we qualify again for any major competition, it will be a disaster because the federation does not take its steps to fix the problem.
Yeah, because that was the problem for Spain, I think. 'Cause, I mean, that generation in England with Ferdinand, Beckham,
Exactly, that's it.
the Liverpool, Garrett,
Yeah.
they were good players, but
But
they never managed to do anything.
yeah, because they were not united, they're not
Yeah.
sticking together. You
Yeah, yeah,
understand, and so that's why when Gareth Southgate picked up the job as a main national team, who were the players he picked up and made a great team? Was the same players he was managing in the under 21 because he
Yeah.
already knew them.
Yeah,
They already
yeah.
knew him,
And that respect for him, and yeah.
and he made them. Obviously, he mixed them with other top stars, but mostly were the kids that he already knew for a long time. You understand? The same with the Portuguese manager called Carlos Queiroz. You probably heard about. He won twice the World Cup of under 20, twice with Portugal, and then he became the national manager, and he picked up the same players.
But that progression is hard, for example. So Sweden won the European Cup for under 20s, wasn't that?
1992. 1992.
Was it?
Yeah, but no.
No.
European.
Under 20s, it was just like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Sorry, what?
Sweden won the under 20s European Cup. So they won the
Okay. Now that's what he was thinking about. I'm making confusion.
The
Yeah.
transition of those players, not many has actually made it to become big players.
Exactly.
So even if you're good at 21, I mean, it's still
Exactly. That's it.
so complicated.
But it's up to the managers to see the talent they have and to see the problems that might prevent them to become top players. Because Cristiano Ronaldo, you know the player he is.
Yeah, amazing.
But in his generation, there was a player. He says that there was a player that was even better than him. You know what this player is doing now? He's making pornographic movies because he was kicked out from football. Drugs, nights away, drinks, etc. He didn't act professionally. The same attention that they gave to Cristiano Ronaldo was the same attention that they gave to that guy. But the problem was here. You understand?
Gascoigne could have been an amazing football player, the British guy.
Who?
Paul Gascoigne.
Focus, yeah.
I mean,
Amazing. Some of the best players I've ever seen.
got
But
destroyed outside the pitch.
now, if you see him, looks like a homeless. He's not, but looks
Yeah, it's
like.
terrible, yeah.
And each time he was going to Portugal on holiday, he was making problems, causing trouble. Yeah, actually, I heard that he has been arrested because involved in a fight. He was drunk, etc.
Well, yeah, even Maradona could probably have been better if he would have had his little problems.
Yeah, that's right. But Maradona,
Amazing, but
Maradona, I think it could be this. No, he couldn't be better than that. The thing is that he could be the best for a longer time.
yes.
The problem is getting involved then with drugs, etc. And was kicked out. But the problem with Maradona was that he scored the goal against England with a hand, and the goal was validated. And since then, he was a target. You understand?
Yeah.
Someone because nowadays, in probably already on that time, but now it's all more obvious. The Freemasonry control everything, including football. And the heads of the Freemasonry is here in England, is in London. The heads of the International Brotherhood of Freemasons is here in London. And that's why they decided that that guy should go down. And he went down. When he died, he had nothing. He won millions and blow up everything. He went to, I think it was Belarus, who invited him to be the president of a club. And they offered him some pieces in gold. He sold everything. When he died, they were looking for that. He didn't have it anymore. He sold it. You understand? And that's it. Sometimes, but in Maradona's case, I think he was a target. The same happened with the Portuguese player. We won in 2016 the European Championship in France against France, and the player who scored the goal, Eder, he was playing in France in Lille. Since then, he never had a job anymore. Why?
Yeah.
Because that European Championship was supposed to be won by France, not by Portugal. We were outsiders. We had a great team, a great generation. Cristiano Ronaldo was there, but I was in that day. I was in the barbecue in Bunstead, and everybody was saying, "Hey, we have to find a place to watch the match, the final of the European Championship, Portugal against France, all together. Let's ask the house owner, what's his name, Roger." And we say, "Yeah, it's a good idea." Then someone said, why are you worried about the match? It's already decided. France has to win the European Championship. Cristiano Ronaldo will be out in a matter of minutes. It happened. It
Yeah.
happened. The guy who injured Cristiano Ronaldo, not even red booked, he was.
Do you remember that final between France and Brazil?
Yeah, in 1988.
Yeah, and the Brazilian team just came out and they played so awful.
I heard they were. Poisoned.
Yeah,
I
it was
heard
very
about
strange though.
black magic involved. So many things, but it is possible that something happened in the hotel where they were, because
Maybe
that's
that food poisoning, but it was very strange. It was
very
like,
strange. Yeah, it's not normal. Yeah, and that's the same in 1990 in Italy, because the final was supposed to be Italy against Brazil, but
was that
it
Italy Argentina?
and
Italy and Argentina in the final. It was the final, is it?
the 1990 was Argentina against Germany.
Oh yeah, yeah, right. Argentina against Germany.
Andreas Brem was the guy who scored the
that's right,
penalty.
that's right, yeah.
Was quite dubious, that penalty, etc. But Argentina, despite being the world champion, they, they were they were not in the plans of who ruled the system to be in the final. It was supposed to be Brazil and Italy. Why? Because that's business. Brazil always drag with them hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
They have a very big diaspora. You understand? So Brazil should be in the final, and then Italy was playing at home, so they will have plenty of support. But it didn't happen because I think was Brazil who was kicked out by Argentina. Was a goal scored by Canidia, and then I think Italy was also kicked out by Argentina. And then Maradona complained that since the moment we destroyed their planet's final, we were treated like gypsies. They treated us really bad, and I think his career still in the top started going down at that moment. That's when he started to get involved in drugs and start to the anti-doping control was becoming positive several times, etc. And it's but only to give you an example that how football nowadays, and it's not only nowadays, before was already like this, is perverted by the ones who rule the system. In Portugal, we in 1980, precisely 1984, we were in the same group of two superpowers. Poland was the third place in the previous World Cup in 1982, and Soviet Union, who had an amazing team because Soviet Union was massive, big. Russia today is very big. In that moment, in that time, was even bigger because included Ukraine, included Lithuania, Belarus, Kazakhstan, etc. And they have a lovely team. They have one of the best goalkeepers in the world, Dasayev, still remember his name, and very good players. They almost beat Brazil, and Brazil were the favorites in 1982. So we were in the same group. Our team was good, but needed to stick together. So we went to Moscow for the first leg of the qualification. We were beaten. We lost 5-0. So supposedly we have no hope. But because the team was good and they're sticking together, against Poland, in Poland, we won, while the Soviet Union draw 1-1. So we needed to win the last game in Lisbon against Soviet Union to be in the European Championship. So what happened? The game was, 50-50. The both teams trying to make their game and score the goal. Suddenly, there was a foul outside of the penalty area. But the referee pointed to the penalty point. It's a penalty. And everybody was complaining. All the Russians were complaining. No, it's not. It was outside. And he said, no, it's a penalty. Then a guy was called in the Portuguese team to score it, and he scored. We won 1-0 with a stolen goal.
Yeah.
Many years later, it was in 1984, 15 years later, more or less, no, 20 years later actually, so 2004, there was a big debate about corruption in football in Portugal. And one guy who was a director for FC Porto, he explained what happened in that game, in that match. He said, look, we qualified for the European Championship in 1984 with a stolen goal. It was a penalty outside of the area. And why the referee pointed to inside the penalty area? I'm going to tell you the secret. In Portugal, in France, there was 1 million Portuguese living there. There was plenty of support for the Portuguese. The stadiums, if Portugal qualifies, will be full. Plenty of tickets, advertising will be sold. How many Russians or Soviet people was in France? Zero. That's why we qualified. But we did a brilliant European Cup. We were beaten at the half final against France, and with Michel Platini, Amadeu, and plenty of brilliant players that France had. But it was a game, like France scored first, Portugal draw. Portugal scored 2-1, France draw. And then on the extra time, France scored the third goal. And that's how we came home. You understand? Because we could, if you're going to the final, we will win the European Championship.
Yeah, enough. Yeah, so, I mean, money has to start the sport, because it was the same a few years ago. This is probably longer, actually. I guess I'm getting old, but in Italy, I don't know if you remember, in Serie A, there was this match fixing scandal.
Yeah.
And it's the highest level of football.
Yeah.
They have fixed the matches.
And in France,
says, it's entertaining anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, that's right. Because that's the thing. That's the way things works. When the corruption scandal in Portugal blew up, because there was a scheme in which the president of FC Porto was bribing referees, but was not bribing referees only with money, with cash. He was introducing the guys to Brazilian prostitutes. So they were bribing the guys with sex. Quite shocking.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then after that you can blackmail them probably.
Yeah, so the corruption, corrupting the referee is already wrong, but that one was even worse, bribing the referees with sex. So even there was a conversation, because later on the phone tapping leaked to the press, and is on YouTube in Portuguese. We can hear the conversations between the corrupt people. A guy from Madeira called one of the associates of the FC Porto president and say, hey, do you know who is coming to as referee next weekend in our game against Benfica? I don't know. It's your friend. It's Duarte, what's his name? Duarte Gomes. I can't remember it. Duarte's bid. Oh, that's brilliant. Brilliant, but we never won nothing with him. Oh, you have to work on it. You want me to do it? Oh, yes, but he first had to ask permission to the president of FC Porto, and then he gave permission. The fact is that Benfica lost that match, and the goals from the opponent were very, very polemic. You see, and in the eve of a game, the match of that game went for a coffee to the house of the president of one of the teams that were playing.
Yeah, the beautiful game is very corrupt. You used to say, I don't know if you remember Platini for a while.
Who?
Platini.
Platini, yeah.
I mean, the whole...
But he was already corrupt as a player.
Yeah.
he was playing for Juventus in Italy, and in precisely 1984, FC Porto was becoming a powerful club by the time. At the time was still a regional club, but became very powerful since then. And you went to the final. You remember the Cups of the Cups. By that time existed until 19-something. It was 1984. The final was FC Porto and Juventus, and the final was in Basel, I presume, in Switzerland. FC Porto scored, and then Juventus scored. It was 1-1. So anyone could win the match and could win the trophy. But in the end, there was a polemic goal scored by Juventus, and Platini was there involved. And Platini was one of those was protesting against the protesters, because the team that lost the match they surrounded the referee and start protesting with him. And Platini was there and protesting against the protesters. So Platini was defending the illegal goal. You understand?
Yeah,
So you
that's him.
yeah, he was already corrupt from that time. So I'm not surprised when he became president of UEFA, I think, or UEFA or FIFA. I can't remember. I knew this guy is there to make money. Is nothing else, and he's not
but
going to.
He really sold the sport out, and then you get a World Cup in Qatar and everything. It was just like
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah, and the World Cup in Russia, which was not that bad. I like that World Cup, but you know it's very far away. It forced everyone.
It was probably sold as well.
Yeah, of course it was, but now everything is like that. Unfortunately, you understand. Even the contracts between the government and private companies involves money under the table. You understand? And the politicians at the top are the worst. I was shocked to learn, for example, about 2 years ago, in the area I was living, in Hayden's Road in Wimbledon, I start noticing that every day on a daily basis, the same people was dumping rubbish on the floor, on the pavement. And we had, different of other places, we already had 2 collection days per week. So the truck was coming to collect the rubbish twice a week. Originally it was once a week on Wednesday, and then they start to coming on Saturday as well. So there was extra money to the company, but it was great. I like it. But even like that, on a daily basis, people are dumping. So I pick up my mobile phone and start recording them. It's not illegal. In a public place, you can record anything. You understand? Here in England, I don't know how it is in Sweden, but here in England, you can record anything in a public place. It doesn't matter if it's children, even if they don't like, if they complain, you don't have to stop recording. The police cannot tell you to stop recording because in the public place, there's no expectations of privacy. Even if you are on the phone to your bank, giving details, it's your problem. If someone uses the camera recording, it's your problem. You understand? In public, there's no. That's why I love the English law. And I was recording the people. So trimmed the video because I recorded them coming out from their door, dumping the rubbish, and going back to their door. So the video was showing where the person was living, and the council knows who lives there because they pay council tax. So I was trimming the video, compressing, and sending together with the witness statement to the council. You know how many people were fined? 0. Then I found out that even the prime minister was, because on a daily basis there was another company to collect the rubbish, and there's more rubbish there is to collect, more they charge the council. And the prime minister Rishi Sunak was taking money, putting money in his pockets under the table from the companies. You understand? And that's when I start to understand why so many councils were going bankrupt all around England during his administration. You understand? While he was prime minister, more than 10 councils gone bankrupt because he was stealing money from the councils.
Yeah, I know the story in I don't know if in Kingston upon Thames, but my friend was doing some building work and needed a building permission from the council.
Mhm.
And the councillor wanted to get Greece basically to approve it.
Yeah.
He wanted to bribe to.
In my country that happens. They drag the case for. I think it's getting dark in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you home.
Yeah. In my country, it happens the same. They drag the case, it takes years, and we go there, and then someone calls a party and say, you have to give a gift. Or something like that. Yeah, then that's what happens. That is typical from the Mediterranean countries. You understand? That's extremely corrupt, like Portugal. My country is horrible in terms of corruption. They are horrible in terms of corruption. You understand? And the same things are happening here now.
It's Italian, so yeah, I know.
Italy, Spain, those, because during the international crisis about 15 years ago, those were the countries that were financially in the bottom and needed assistance from the IMF. It was Portugal, Spain. I think Spain refused, but Spain, the government and the people spent quite a hard time to recover because they refused be assisted by the IMF. But Portugal, Italy, and what's the name, Greece, they had no choice but to receive money from the IMF. But in the end, they have to give that money back during some certain years. That's why they implemented what they call austerity. You understand? And in here, the difference is that we have our own currency. If it's necessary, print more money, and that's it. You understand? In Europe, they came up with that. So, so I'm surprised that you live here now
Yeah, I came here 24 years ago.
and you stayed.
Yeah, I stayed.
All
I
right.
went to uni here and I stayed.
That's a good thing here in England. We
We
find
were
people.
members of EU at the time. It was no problem, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true. Even now, there is no, at least for me, there's no problem because I suppose you must have the settled status.
I have the sales there.
Yeah.
I have even applied for citizenship now.
Ah, okay. I will think about that, but they are changing the rules. They are changing the rules. The
This,
prime.
this stuff I better do it now before more rule changes, and then because if I get the citizenship, it also gives. I mean, I can come and go as I want. Yeah. If I wanted to move back to Europe, EU at some point and work maybe somewhere, then I can always come back again.
Exactly. That's why. Yeah. So I was wondering to ask for citizenship as well, but now they are changing the rules, so I am seeing what if they change more rules, what I have to do, etc., etc. If my situation complies or not. For now, if I want to apply, I am entitled. I am just very relaxed, and we Mediterranean people, we postpone things. That has a name, isn't it? When you postpone things, is a procrastination.
Yeah.
We are procrastinators, native procrastinators, and that's why I didn't apply yet, but I will start thinking.
Yeah, because the way the politics in this country is going at the moment, I first might as well get it.
Well, the political situation here in England has been not really the best because the Brexit brought a lot of instability.
Yeah, another whole reform thing, I'm not too keen on it either.
Reform, but reform, the problem with reform is that they don't have full support of those who have the power. You understand? The problem of reform, and I'm not sure how good they will do. Because their policy is basically immigration, deportation, etc. It's like Donald Trump. Now he's deporting everyone. Yeah, basically.
It's like they want to privatize the NHS, yeah? People don't like it.
But
they don't really tell people that. All they can tell is
but there's one thing. There's one.
very much like one-sided party, really. All they care about is immigration. But then on the other hand, it's just misdirected anger.
Yeah, well,
People think a lot of the working class think it's immigrants' fault that they have left behind, but it's nothing to do with immigrants.
That's right. Yeah, the immigrants are not the problem of the
They're
country.
not the problem.
No.
They're just the scapegoat.
We actually are a solution for many problems because in America, the policy of Donald Trump in kicking out everyone that is found is kicking out. They don't have now staff to pick up the crops. They don't have waiters for the restaurants. They don't have people for construction. They don't have people who work in the supermarkets. So now there is a deficit of handwork there in America. And I don't know if he's taking steps to fulfill the problem, because if he has to take steps, he's to call the immigrants. Do you understand?
North Europe and America has the same problem as well. I don't know about how South Europe, but I suspect they have the same. The childbirth problem?
The what?
Childbirth problem. So women in the UK, they have like 1.4 children. And to sustain the population, they need to have two children on average.
Okay.
So basically, the population is getting older. We don't have enough young people.
Yeah.
Who's going to support us when we get older?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. They have to. It's like compensate with.
Yeah. Otherwise, you get the pyramid of like.
That's it.
Most people are up here, like.
But
the young people.
Yeah. But that is a problem in most of European countries. For example, in Germany is exactly the same.
Same
Yeah.
here as well.
That's why that's one of the allegations that, for example, the Turkish were doing when they wanted to join the European Union because they have plenty of young people. And I remember to see an interview, to read actually in the newspaper, an interview to a Turkish guy, a politician, probably, I don't remember what he was exactly. And he said, when he was asked if there is advantages for Turkey to advantage for the European Union to Turkey join them, he said, well, depends. If you want a Europe formed by old people, so Turkey shouldn't join. If you want a Europe full of young people, in that case, Turkey should join. But okay, that's a specific case, Turkey. But it's not only about Turkey; it's about many other countries. We have plenty of Polish people here. Most of them are young people. Understand? But yeah, I don't.
Funny. I remember on the Brexit debate, Turkey came up like they might join the EU in the future. But if people travel to Turkey, you will see how European they are. They're not that different.
Yeah, that's it. He's right. Yeah. Anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
What time is it?
Yeah, I better go. Lovely chatting to you. Nice
Yeah,
to
was good. What's your name?
Matthias.
Mateus. Amadeu. Yeah,
Nice
for
to meet you.
for the first time, I'm gonna give you my real name because when people ask me my name, I always say Joseph. Actually, it's my middle name, Jose. I never give my real name because we never know what happens. You understand? Because
I tell people my name is Peter sometimes, but my real name is Matthias.
okay,
Nice to meet you. Have a
nice
good
to meet you.
evening as well.
Yeah, I will. Thank you very much. You too. Ora bem, tenho que resolver isto. Yeah. Muito bem. Agora vais pegar aqui. Ora. Fotos. Este aqui. É. Não. Assim. Ah, ok. Aqui. É um bocadinho mais pequeno. Pois. Mas, já não dá. Que já está. Tens de fazer até ao som. Até ao som. Oh, ora bem. Atrasou-me aqui de caralho, filho da puta. Mas eu vou ter que. Não sei o que é que